the link. So now we can start the workshop. So I welcome to the second workshop on photojournalism with Mr. Azneal Ishak. Hello again, my name is Hyrule, or you can call me by Jebat, and I'll be your MC for today. With me today also is Bu Lucy and Miss Hani as your co-host, who will be helping me throughout the webinar. So before I give the floor to Mr. Azneal Ishak, please allow me to spare a few minutes to introduce TRCRC briefly. So as you may or may not heard about TRCRC, our vision is to conserve and preserve threatened tropical rainforest plant species and support other organizations in cultivating and maintaining a stable forest ecosystem. So our job is we collect mainly the seed of big chocarab trees and grow them in the nursery for about 2 years before we bring them back to forest restoration sites. We also work with indigenous community from seed collection, nursery setup, seedling buyback, and tree planting programs. We also encourage a youth participant to provide them with training and volunteering opportunity. So, in the conjunction with the International Day of Forests on March 21st, 2022, the RCRC is organizing a series of photography and journalism workshop with a follow-up storytelling competition. Together, this workshop aims to provide exposure and training to highly interested individuals in rapid, accurate, and charismatic documentation from and for the forest. In the previous workshop, we already launched the storytelling competition, and we welcome all the attendees today to submit your forest story from today to March 10 on the submission link. And the submission link already been shared through your guys' emails upon the sign up on, or you can go to TRCRC Instagram bio. So we welcome all submission ranging from the national park to the community forest in your neighborhood, covering the 5 themes here. You can tell the story about the forest species, community, ecosystem, ecological issue, and function of the forest. I would also like to grab this chance to share with you all that one winner will be joining the team, and yes, joining me to our tropical rainforest living collection at Banon Perak. So during the week of International Day of Forests, at the end of the March, the selected winner will have the chance to put their learned skill to the test, documenting the conservation fieldwork that will be taking place throughout the week. So today, we have an incredible speaker who will share his knowledge and experience on photojournalism. I'm very delighted to welcome Mr. Azneal Ishak. Hello, Mr. Azneal, how are you?
Hello, Hyrule.
Hi, sehat?
Sehat.
Alhamdulillah. All right. So before I pass the floor to you, I will introduce yourself a little bit. So Mr. Azneal Ishak is a self-taught photojournalist and currently on assignment for online news portal Malaysia Kini. He will share his basic photojournalism workflow and how to work on a photo story. He will also bring us through with his experience covering the Hulu Langat, Sri Muda Heavy Flood, and the online classes at Orang Asli Forest Education Han. We are very honored to have him here, and without further ado, the floor is yours, Mr. Azneal.
Hello, everybody. Thank you to our host, Hyrule and Lucy and the Tropical Rainforest team for invite me to be a trainer to share my experience and my a bit knowledge for photojournalism workshop. Okay. Without any further ado, I start the session with my experience in the photojournalism of myself. and then at the same time my knowledge, and then we go through to how to structure a good photo essay. Okay, in my opinion, photojournalism, we talk about photojournalism. Basically, in my opinion, photojournalism is sending message to people using element of photography. Every day is a new challenge. Try to get the best photo for our news to the people. Basically, the photojournalism is you capturing a moment in the real time, capturing a history. Sometimes you capture a sad story. Sometimes it's a happy story. Yeah, and the way photojournalism working, basically we at the frontliner capturing the event, try to get the photo that relate with the story, and then the workflow is normally photographers will I call that photojournalism lah. Photojournalism usually work with the reporters, and then work with the we liaise with the reporters and the videographers. But the way we work are different. For like reporters, they write the story using a pen and a paper. But right now it's using phone lah, kan? So more faster. And then for photographers, we work on once we get the photos, once we capture the photos, we go by editing, and then we caption the photos. In photojournalism, there is I call that work ethics lah. Some work ethics, like usually we cannot edit the photo like manipulate like stem tool. Usually we edit on cropping, and then the exposure, and then we capture the photo, and then we send the photo to our editors lah. Okay, I want to share my okay, we go through in the how to get a photo. I can call that how I on the ground when I was working in the assignment. Okay, basically it's not about you taking a good photo lah. In my opinion, it's about how you plan. Wait, I want to see my single photo.
Are you able to share the screen, Mr. Azneal?
Yeah, I want to share some of my photo. Wait, photo. Okay. Okay, boleh nampak tak? Hairul.
Boleh.
Alright. Okay, basically photojournalism it's not about you taking a good photo lah. It's about how you plan. It's about how you manage the event, the assignment. For me, it is important to do a proper preparation, such as your day research, and then your context, and then you liaise with the reporters, and you talk to people. You talk to the people during the assignment, because you want to get the info as much as possible before you taking the photo. Okay, let me click. Okay. Okay. For me, photography is a learning process. Uh, when you get all these things like preparation, all the context, uh, it's easy for you to work. And then it's about a learning process lah. When you get all the things, you get all the picture that you want lah. Then you know how and what the photo that you need to capture, because for me, you don't want to miss the moment. If you miss the moment, there's no turning back lah. There's no turning back, and you really want to shoot the real event, the real moment, so you know how to prepare. And when you and what to know your camera capability is all about, so you know how to use it. So it's to use whatever you have, so it's about your preparation and all that lah. For me, this is my single photo I share to you, some of my single and standalone photo lah. In photojournalism, in my opinion, there's two types. We got single photo and a photo story lah. Single photo, basically, we call it human interest. We call it standalone pictures. Standalone pictures, and standalone is like a daily life pictures, daily life of people with a caption story, and then a short information lah on the caption lah, like Thaipusam event, Chinese New Year, and all that. Usually the human interest photo in photojournalism is relate with the story also lah, or we called it like human interest photo, and then the standalone, yeah. And then also we have there's some sport photography I do in my work. Sometimes it can be a general, or
We wait for our panel. Maybe we got some internet connection problem. Hello, Mr. Azneal. Your mic is mute.
sorry everyone, I actually I'm in Johor Bahru right now in hotel.
This is the patient that we need from. How's the internet connection? Okay.
So yeah, all good. Tadi kat mana lah?
Last the single photo.
Okay. So do we have a time to this single photo, or we want to go through today?
Yeah. You can continue straight to your agenda.
Okay. Maybe we can talk about photo essay lah.
Yep.
Okay, jap. Wait share my screen. Okay, this is one of my photo essay in Hulu Langat Aftermath early this year. Okay, basically in photo essay, we need to have at least 12 photo lah, or more in one set lah. In one story, basically, starting of the photo essay, usually we do a established shot lah. Established shot, or other words is a main photo lah, or we call it opening photo. And then it is better if to highlight some of the close-up shots. Yeah, technically, in my opinion, technically, to make a photo essay, you have to shoot all this lah, and so the set of the photo looks like verified, right? Yeah. So the process is, for me, the process is almost same like you making you're watching a film, like starting opening, you have opening scene, and then with end up you have with the closing shot. Okay, this is one of the story in Hulu Langat Aftermath. This is one of the story after the heavy flood. This is the other one photo. Wait. Okay, this is the story in Taman Sri Muda Float. In Taman Sri Muda Float, for me, it's important you to do a proper preparation because when photographer cover this assignment, we walk on the float. Yeah, the float is not it's not deep. It is knee level, but for me it is important to wear like boot or a proper shoe lah, because you don't know what to step on the float, right? So the situation is in Taman Sri Muda. This one people start bring their stuff to get out from the float to save their cat, and then their dogs also. There are also elderly people who are sick. Yeah, and they try to get up from the float. And then also there's a lot of soldier and volunteer carry and go inside to helping them. Hairul, can I go through on the online class?
Yeah.
Okay, this is my story on orang asli study online in the forest hunt. in Kampung Bekok, Johor. This is a story on affected from COVID-19 lah, basically. When the government announced total lockdown, yeah, people work from home, and then the school start opening with online class. Okay, I would like to share more on how I curate the story and the photo lah. For me, it is important to know what is the main issue, and you have to talk with the with them lah. You have to talk with the people. You have to talk. You have to interview them to make them comfortable lah before you capture them, before you shoot them. When you know how to write, when you know how the story is, then you can make a photo lah. Then you can shoot. Then you can plan how many days you want to stay there. You have to talk with them, and then also the preparation also same. You need to do some research on the place, whether the place have the like internet line, you know, because you have to update to your office also, and then you have to monitor all this lah. What the story is breaking, is coming out. So yeah, for me this is one of my proper photo essay lah that I make lah, that I publish on the Malaysia Kini. Yeah. So in my opinion, when you know the story, when you know how to the story is, then you can shoot the photo lah. You can manage and all that. You can plan whether you want to go in the morning, and then on night you want to shoot on night. So in this story, I practice on the like general and all that lah, general shot. For example, this is the main photo, which is the opening photo lah. You can see the kids, the orang asli kids study online, and then this is the second photo. They come from their house, about 50 kilometers from their house, and then this is I can call it the white shot lah, the white shot, the established shot, where I can see the environment where they study, and then the place is not comfortable, right? So it's also very dangerous because they always have like snakes, like binatang liar semua kan. And then belum masuk lagi like hujan semua. And then this is one of the close-up shot lah. The close-up shot, it is important lah you to put a close-up shot in your story lah, because it's like variety lah. You have a wide shot and then you have a close-up shot. This close-up shot I show how they communicate with the teachers on the online class. So this is the road where they the only road they have to cross to go to the forest. This is the scene at night lah, where some of the parents have to stay until night because one of their daughters in online class at until midnight, so the parents stay to temankan dia anak kan. So this is the what we call it portrait shot with some of the the kids with their mom, and then this is where they build the forest. Okay, Harul, everybody, is it clear or am I too fast?
For me, I think okay. How about the participant? There, I can see some questions start to popping out.
Wait, so am I gonna answer the question or we go?
We can go through first some of the questions. So I can see from the chat box first, from Mr. Arif Tajudins. So normally, how many days you took to do a research before start a shoot? Look for fact findings and tell us how you visualize the scene before you shoot and how many days you spend there. So there's a lot of question from Mr. Arif.
Okay, Mr. Arif, usually depends on the story lah. Macam like the forest orang asli story. I stay in Kampung Bekok about 3 days. I go there with my colleague, photojournalist also, Azuddin from News That Time. So we plan 3 days for roughly 3 days, and then usually when we go there, after we see the situation, how the situation is, usually we macam tambah hari lah, macam like ada shot yang macam tak cukup, and then so bila ada shot yang tak cukup, we extend the day. So like I think 4-5 days jugalah I stay in the Johor. So sometimes when you need to plan like okay, macam like I plan tomorrow I want to take a general photo, like establish shot lah contoh. So sometimes the photo didn't happen. I can't get the photo because the weather is rain, so the weather is not nice to took the photo kan. So for me depends on the story and how the situation is. But usually I go about 4 or 5 days to complete one story. Yeah.
Okay, I hope that answered the question for Mr. Arif. So So we going to new for Nur Fatiha. So how do you handle with the people if they don't want their picture taken? How you handle it?
Okay. Usually usually when I talk to the people and I try to convince them. Usually they okay lah, they accept lah. But when in my early journey in photojournalism, I selalu like kena marah lah. People don't want to take the photo, but lama-lama macam you have to look into the people, what subject you want to shoot. Sometimes if you want to shoot one people, you can see the reaction of the face. You can see the reaction whether you just angkat your camera and then you boleh tengok the reaction macam mana. Sometimes dia okay and then kalau dia macam you rasa tak okay, tak shoot lah. Tapi in my opinion, if you want to shoot photo, you ask them first lah. Depends on the photo lah. You ask them macam like example photo pictures of people tengah makan kan. So you better ask them whether you want to take photo. But sometimes diorang macam angkat tangan, so I tak shoot lah. Depends on the subject jugalah. Tapi in the kalau photo essay, like I want to make a story, like contoh I pergi kampung orang asli, usually we arrive there, we talk to them, we borak dengan dorang, make them comfortable with make them comfortable, macam borak dulu, talk to them what we gonna do, what can we help for the people kan. So and then selalunya okay lah, yeah. But try to talk to them first lah before take photo.
Yeah, I think that's the most important, like, to ask them first. I think it's quite hard for us to take a photo of person. So another question from Tashwini. So is it hard to get permission to cover story of a community in the rural area? So macam mana Pak Nil buat tu? Macam mana nak masuk dalam tu, masuk kawasan orang asli ni?
Okay, macam like me as a press photographer, we have I think not a special access, we have access like media pass, and then actually the story on the orang asli during the total lockdown tau, which is total lockdown is jalan kosong semua, everybody kat rumah kan. So it's a difficult lah because bila total lockdown, there's a many roadblock and all that kan. So me and Aizuddin, we go to the police station, we do a letter to go to the Johor, and then the police station want the letter from our company, so we go back to our company to get the letter. We really need to highlight this story lah, because for me this is important story lah. So we do everything to get there. We do everything, and then but when you have the proper letter from company and all that, so we go lah there, we try to go. And then but when we arrive at the Kampung Bekok, the line is not very clear tau. So the waste is disconnect, you know. So you have to ask people there, you ask to ask orang kampung there. And then that time is a COVID issue, so orang kampung like don't want to talk to kat kita orang lah, because they afraid we bring COVID from KL kan. So it's very difficult lah to get into the forest, but luckily at the end yeah, we jumpa jugalah tempat the place.
Yeah, I still remember back in time, it was so hard to do a program or event. Everything need a letter, everything need to go to police station. So do you deal with Jakwa when you involved with the orang asli?
No, we just go there because before we arrive there, there's one of the parents there upload the photo in the social media. So we direct PM, we ask, we communicate with online lah. We want to go there, we want to make a story. At the same time, we want to highlight, want to help them lah, to give like something. And so before go there, we talk to the parents, and then they said okay lah, can come lah, but actually dia dah tunjuk jalan tau, jalan macam ni, but Bila sampai sana lupa semua kan. So orang so sad. Lepas tu sampai sana dia kata, she said like when you arrive here you call me. But when we are
No line.
no internet and all that, and so like wow, very very difficult.
Struggle.
Behind the scene when we want to get there is very 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 tough lah. Yeah.
Okay, that's the last question from the chat box. So I hope the other participant can ask in the Q&A box. So we move on to the Q&A box. So the first question from Mr. Ahmad, how do you search for story? So, and when you get the story, do you have to pitch the story to your editor or just publish it?
Okay, Ahmad Pian. Okay, selalu usually it depends on the story lah, Pian. Because usually depends on the story lah. Tapi usually we propose to our editors, and then before we propose, we know this story is gonna be a big story kan. So for me depends on the story lah. Sometimes I propose to the office. Sometimes I go there first to see how the things going. Yeah, because the good thing when you propose on your office, on the editors, they will give you idea. They will give you like, okay, you have to interview these people. You have to interview the businessman. You have to spoke in the people in the village. So when you speak to the editors, sometimes they will brief you like, okay, you kena buat ni. So tapi for me, if you ask me, I can say that I go first lah. I go first to the the tempat, and then I try to look around to tengok lah what can I bring back to office lah. Yeah.
So dia macam gamble juga
Gamble juga
Kena yakin lah story tu kan jadi hebat lah. So before we continue with our question, Mr. Azneal, do you have sharing? Still have a sharing, or you have done with your sharing?
I think done with the sharing session lah. But if I have anything to ask, maybe can personal contact lah on my.
Okay, and then we can continue for the Q&A session je lah.
Mhm.
Okay. The next question, if we have a picture bulk, ni jenis banyak gambar ni. So how we arrange it to become a story? Is there a simple structure to follow? So macam mana nak daripada banyak gambar tu jadikan the story?
Okay. No, because usually it depends on the story, because you have to know the story first lah. When we talk about photo essay or documentary, in my opinion lah, setahu saya lah, the photo that you took, the photo that you capture is based on the story, what story you want to do. If you, for example, if you want to do a story on COVID-19, so you have to know what type of COVID-19, whether it's a good story, whether it's a bad story. So for example, if the story is good, so you have to take the photo on the good side lah, macam vaccine and then swab test photo. Example dia macam tu lah. Tapi usually it depend on the story lah. Without any story, the photo cannot speak lah. So you have to do a story to send the message lah. The story and the photo, and then barulah the virality and message tu sampai lah. Yeah, that is my opinion. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, I think, is same like ethic, how you take pictures, so you ask permission and that. So we skip to the next questions. So hi Azneal, may I know how do you write your photo story before going into the field to take the picture?
Okay, hi, okay, usually when I see the, I can call that issue lah. When I see the issue, and then when when I see the issue can make a story, then I go to the place, and then at the place I interview the people, interview the problems, what the problems, and then it is important to you to take a note, to you know how the problem is gonna be, how the issue is gonna be. So you have to know the everything on the place or on the issue. Then if you know the issue, if you know the problem, then it's easy you to make the story, or easy you to create the story lah. And then like I said before, in one photo essay you have to have a lot of photo, like variety photo lah. You have to do a close-up shot, establish shot, and then the closing shot. So like you making a film lah, you like ada opening scene, and then like macam tengah-tengah tu macam slow down sikit, and then center tu ada close-up shot. So macam variety, and then at the end up you ada closing shot lah, which is endingnya shot lah. So for me, kalau ada benda-benda tu, benda tu is a complete photo essay lah, with a good story lah. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, so what is your usual kit? So do you tend to bring a lot of gear? So mungkin kita tahu ada jenis-jenis lens yang berbeza ke kan? Lebih-lebih kalau tengok masuk berbanjir tu kan? So what is your usual kit and what extent gear you bring?
Okay, like photojournalists, when we work kan, we have basically we have a tele shot, wide shot, and then tele shot lah. It's safe to get the photo lah. And then macam contoh when you cover banjir, when we covering banjir, you have to prepare a lot of thing lah. Macam kena pakai proper shoes, and then kalau boleh ada boot, and then you have to get ready lah, because you don't know what is gonna happen, right? And then macam you kena ada contact jugalah, daripada my view lah, because when you arrive at the place where it very massive flood, then you have to talk to the people, you have to talk to the people to you to get there, because without any boat you cannot capture the photo lah. So it is important you to talk to the people, you talk with the maybe government agency like NATMA ke, ASKA ke. So you have to introduce yourself to them, what you gonna make, apa yang you boleh bantu diorang. Tapi usually macam kita orang as a press photographer, so dia orang akan like bagi tumpang semua untuk jalan. So for me it is important lah, you not only you taking a good photo lah, the preparation and all that you kena ada jugalah. Yeah.
So mungkin boleh sharing juga apa brand or type of camera yang Azneal gunakan?
Oh, saya pakai Nikon. Nikon 850. Lens 2470. And then lagi satu saya pakai Nikon 70-200. Yeah.
Okay, next question from Shahira. So, how did you keep the quality of your picture even in a spontaneous situation? Contohnya mungkin gambar bergerak ke kan, tiba-tiba masuk rumah asli jumpa ular tu kan. Macam mana nak kekalkan kualiti gambar tu?
tough question tu. Maksudnya macam mana? Daripada segi persediaan kau tu macam mana?
Ya betul. Macam mana nak kalau tiba-tiba ada something yang berlaku kan, macam mana Azneal kekalkan gambar tu kualiti dia tu? Memang dah standby kamera siap-siap all the time ke?
Hari dulu kot. Macam contohnya soalan tu macam kita ambil contoh macam when the photographer doing a coverage on kita ambil contoh macam COVID kan. So the COVID is macam like virus you tak nampak kan. So it important lah macam it's all about preparation jugalah. Tapi usually before you go to the assignment, macam like contoh ular tadi masuk hutan kan, usually kita macam kita dah study dulu lah. Bukan dah study, macam kita dah tahu what is going, apa yang kita akan hadap. Macam dalam hutan kita tahu okay benda ni bahaya. So maybe for me benda tu kena belajar dulu kot. Research ke benda, it is important lah you to make a research lah. Usually me if I go to assignment, depends on kalau big assignment lah, masuk hutan ke apa isu ke orang asli ke, I will search on the place first lah. Apa yang ada dekat situ, apa yang bahaya kat situ. Preparation, research. So when you have a research and preparation, so baru macam okay, well planned lah kan. Not only you pergi sana terus ambil gambar semua and then you borak dengan orang semua. So it's about preparation lah for me. Yeah.
Okay, I hope that answer the question for Shahira. The next question, do you tend to have a preconceived idea of the story angle, or do you have access the situation from the icon of the photo is actually on the ground situation to arrive at the final story? It's quite a long question.
Mana question?
You can see in the Q&A.
Okay.
So under Shahira.
Shahira, I can't find how did you keep the quality? Hairul, can you read the question? I tak nampak.
So macam mana Azneal ada macam imajinasi idea ke, atau macam mana dah dapatkan story angle tu? Pada initial plan lah sebelum sampai dekat ground punya situation.
Okay, selalunya basically the real story is not the real story is when you arrive there lah, when you arrive at the event lah, when you arrive at the place that you want to make a story. So kadang-kadang you sampai tempat tu, you akan jumpa something yang more interesting lah. Like example, you nak cover banjir kan. So kadang-kadang you dah sampai sana, you jumpa benda lain, benda yang lebih like interesting. Macam at the Taman Sri Muda situation, when I go there to cover a heavy flood, and that time the issue is people pecahkan, go inside the Maidin to take the makanan and all that kan. So the story dekat situ, the issue is dekat situ lah. So sometimes macam you kena go to the place first lah. You have to see the place first, the situation first. Sometimes you draft a story, you make a story, and then when you arrive, the story is macam you get a much better story kan. So to make a story, in my opinion, it is important you to interview orang lah, interview people, and then you know how what story you want to make, apa apa yang story tu boleh beri kebaikan kepada orang semua. So bila you ada benda-benda tu, you tahu apa story yang you nak buat, then you can shoot, and then you know how foto yang you nak cari lah. Yeah, that is my opinion lah.
Okay, so for the next one, hi Azneal, amazing photograph. Thank you for sharing. So Azneal, ada tak structure or checklist that you try to follow in order to capture all the content that you need lah?
Macam mana?
So Azneal ada tak macam structure or checklist yang Azneal sedia dulu before nak capture all the content that you need?
Yeah, of course. Of course ada plan what photo yang that I'm gonna shoot lah. Macam contoh yang story orang asli tu, of course you have the imaginasi. When the story you tahu yang the kids study inside the forest, so you know what picture you gonna make. The picture is people study in the forest, and then the background is the forest lah, is the kampung, and then dalam hutan lah. But for me depends jugalah. Sometimes macam story macam study dalam online dalam hutan tu, you tahu you dah boleh, you can imagine what picture you will bring back. You tahu apa story, gambar yang you akan ambil. So before you arrive there, you know what you dah boleh imaginasi kan, macam mana the situation. But when I arrived there, the situation is they not only study in the jungle, they study macam not macam dalam jungle, dia ada kelapa sawit. So bila you sampai sana baru you macam terbuka, macam like, oh okay, sebenarnya bukan saja kat sini, lepas tu, and then baru dia, bila I borak dengan dia orang cerita like kalau hujan macam mana semua. So when you get there, you know what the story is all about lah. So yeah, it is important lah to talk to the people there and interview them and write in the story lah. Yeah.
Okay, the next question. Can you explain how an ending shot should look like? Thank you, Azneal.
Okay, the ending shot for me is depends on the story. The ending shot depends on the story. Sometimes it can be a close-up shot. Sometimes it can be the view shot. Sometimes the portrait shot. So in my opinion, the closing shot is it depends on how you curate the story lah. Yeah.
So it depends on the story lah.
Yeah, for me it depends on the story.
Okay. What are some of the elements of supporting photos other than establishing or opening picture that you mentioned?
Can you repeat it again? I don't.
So what are some of the elements of supporting photo other than opening picture that you mentioned? Gambar-gambar sokongan.
Okay, selalunya okay, hello.
Hello, yeah, we can hear you.
Selalunya usually selalunya depends on the photographers lah. like whether the pictures whether the pictures is direct, whether the pictures is macam indirect. So depends juga lah on how the story is gonna be lah. Tapi macam saya like me usually when I create the story, when I create a photo essay, I will put the main photo is a direct pictures which is the pictures that when you look like okay this is the issue lah. But some people they will put the opening shot in the first pictures is like established shot. So when you put the established shot like contoh gambar view dekat hutan kan, so you don't know what the story is. So you kena tengok gambar lain, so you kena baca, then you baru tahu the ni story pasal hutan tercemar ke, sungai tercemar ke. So for me depends on the photographer jugalah on how you present the story lah. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question, have you ever shot a story in the forest or environmental issue that you can share the experience?
Okay, ada ada one time I pergi assignment yang I assigned by my office in Pos Lanai in Pahang, right? Pos Lanang, I think in Pahang lah. Okay, the place is very like you go inside the Pos Lanai forest. There is no internet, there is no line, so it's very difficult lah. You to I go with the reporters and then you have to naik boat berapa jam semua. So and then when I came with my reporter, they buat story on hutan haiwan liar lah, haiwan liar. And then that time I have to shoot a photo of like harimau and elephant tau. So because the story is like ancaman haiwan liar, right? So the bad thing is I can't find the elephant and the harimau and all that lah. So with that situation, the reporters like have to write another story lah. I have to re-angle the story. So that is one of the experience yang I have with in the forest. Yeah. Whether you have your plan and then you go there and then there's no pictures, it's very very difficult. So yeah, this is one of the experience.
Okay, so if just now they asked about story in the forest, so the next question is, what is the most memorable story you cover during your career and why?
Okay, one of the story that I never forget is ada satu time tu landslide in Karak, Pahang. So when I cover the assignment is the situation is very difficult because you don't have a hotel nearby hotel. So the medias have to wait in the highway and then we tidur dalam kereta, tidur tepi highway. So that one memang sangat teruk lah. And then the traffic is jam, the weather is raining. So that time memang I think that's a most heavy assignment lah to shoot. And then the situation is at night you have to beware to bring your lights, the flash and all that. So yeah, that one of the most dangerous assignment that I experienced.
Okay, so how did you choose which situation is the best for your writing?
What was it?
how did you choose which situation is the best for your writing?
Contohnya the situation.
So macam COVID kan, banjir. So macam mana Pak Nel tahu situation ni best untuk writing Pak Nel?
That one for me depends on the issue lah. It depends on the issue because sometimes the story is good, the story best, but the visualize is not so good kan. So depends juga lah. Kadang you have a good story but the photo is not good. Sometimes the story is very basic but the visual is nice. So yeah, for me depends on the story, how you want to accurate the story lah. Yeah.
Okay, the next question. In Pak Nel opinion, so usually focus pada one subject or multiple subject in one photo for photo story?
I prefer photo story lah.
Okay. So Pak Nel focus on one subject or multiple subject?
Okay.
Usually, if I may ask again, it's like for a photo story, right?
Okay.
Like in the pictures,
we just like focus like in the pictures of in the picture series for a photo story. Do you
Okay.
usually like focus just like one subject in each pictures, or it can be like the multiple subjects shot as well? Like what kind of style do you usually advise on?
Okay. For me depends on the place where you want to shoot, because sometimes when you shoot about example environmental like a story like banjir kan, so if you go to flood situation, first thing when you take the photo, the place is full of flood kan, so it is better if you wait for the subject lah. Because sometimes you shoot the wide angle, the situation is flood, and then sometimes when you shoot ada like someone is bring a boat, like macam ada tiba-tiba the boat sampai ke ataupun orang tengah berenang ke, so it is important to wait the moment lah. It is important to wait for the moment and the subject to put inside your frame daripada you generally shoot the general pictures lah. So for me, yeah, it is important if have the subject, if the subject is if you wait for the subject, then maybe for me it's a better pictures to shoot. Yeah.
Okay, the next question from John Chen. So is there a difference between using a phone and a camera to take the picture? Because most of people don't have a professional camera.
Yeah, Chen, for me it's important lah, because the camera is, the capability is more like heavy use, like every situation when you cover a heavy assignment like banjir, and then it's the quality of the picture. And then because when you shoot at night, the camera have the better ISO, the better aperture due to setting, the white balance. So for me, camera is tak tahu, in my opinion lah, as I work in this line, in my opinion, the camera is more important lah, because sometimes you want to shoot the far subject kan, so we using camera phone, when you zoom the lens, the quality is not very good, right? So yeah, camera, I think I prefer camera lah. Yeah.
Okay, maybe the last question for today. Do you arrange and write the story in the field or simpan dulu balik office baru buat story?
Simpan dulu, balik baru buat story. Depends lah. Depends. Sometimes the editors want the story as soon as possible kan. Tapi selalunya like when we talk about photo story, usually we have time to write the story lah. To write the story. Depends on the story lah. If it's the breaking news story, you have to make it fast and publish on that day lah. But if the story is a general story, yeah, maybe you can keep the story and you can do better. You can, depends on the story juga lah, on how you want to publish lah. Yeah.
Okay, I hope that is the last question from our attendees today. Thank you all for those great questions and intensive discussion, I may say. So if I may, I would like to summarize the panel discussion with a few key takeaway below. So this is the conclusion for panel story today. First, we should have the structure of the story, and then the photo planning then should be following the structure of the story. In short, an establishing shot that is able to capture the main idea of the whole story, and then a few close-up shots to follow up the subject and emotion in the story, then close with an ending shot. So the second point is Azneal also highlight the importance of preparation to go into the field, especially harsh environment like flooding and remote area in the Orang Asli village. Gear and location background research are useful to avoid unpleasant situation and reduce risk. Thirdly, but not least importance, Azneal also share that it is important to be flexible with the story structure and be open with the ground situation, especially in a remote area, as the story are usually poorly and wrongfully reported before this. It is thus important to be open with ground communication. So with that, I hope everyone benefit from Azneal sharing and put the picture slipping in your phone into interesting forest story. So thank you once again to Mr. Azneal Ishak for the detailed photojournalism workflow and for sharing your invaluable experience with us. So you certainly have inspired me as a young person. It's encouraging to know that we all can report and tell story about the environment when we go into the forest through picture without a lengthy words. So we may lose our forest years by years, but certainly not our spirit, and hope to restore and protect it. I hope those listening leaving this session with more insight and hope. Okay, so before I ending these sessions, I would like to introduce about Eco. So for those who doesn't know, Eco is a photography and resource website that aims to spotlight some of the amazing species that call this part of the world home. The Asia Pacific region is one of the most critical biodiverse region of the world, and yet so little is known about the natural world here. So this collaboration between Jane Goodall Institute and Root and Shoot Group of Australia, India, Taiwan, Singapore, and Malaysia pulls together resources to give a voice and a platform to our unique wildlife and natural landscape. So visit eco.org or their Facebook page today to find out more about our biodiversity and what you can do to protect it. Thank you all for participating in this session. On the behalf of TSRC, I would like to thank everyone who worked together to make this happen, especially Pak Neil yang dekat Johor tu. Terima kasih. So for his time and expertise, and Yayasan Sime Darby for their support and funding.
Terima kasih Hairul.
Sama-sama.
Yes, typical team. Yeah.
And we are sorry again for the technical issue, delay in the link. So don't forget to follow us on social media, Alliance TRCRC on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for all updates. So don't forget, please send us your story from forests across Malaysia through the storytelling competition. It is now open for submission until March 10. We are excited to see you put the last week punya mobile photography by Miss Pearl and today Azneal photojournalism skill into the practice. Thank you all and have a good night.